We have a real treat for you today if you're a Costco lover.
And it is true that if you love freezer meals, you often love Costco. But the question is, what happens if there's just one or two of you and you love Costco? What are you going to do with all that food?
In a way, the video today is dedicated to our moms.
It really is.
Yes, it is. Because my mom loves Costco. I don't love crowds, so I don't go to Costco very often, even though I have a massive family. But my mom, who lives on her own, goes to Costco all the time, and she always texts me from there and says, "Is there anything you need?" Which I so appreciate because she's there anyway, and she can pick up those things for me. And
my mom is the same, and she has lived alone for over 10 years. And she still goes to Costco, still has her Costco card, and nowadays I think it's mostly for the gas, but she still will go get like the giant thing of nuts and divvy them out. My mom has been a freezer meal person since we were babies, so that wasn't anything new for her to buy something and divide it up. You can buy a Costco pumpkin pie and divide it up and just take out one at a time and eat pumpkin pie whenever you like. Did you know that?
That's very timely information.
It is, because it's fall and we're heading into all those great fall flavors that are out there, and pumpkin pie is part of that.
And we've got some fall flavors for you today too. So if you love Costco and if you want to make some individual servings, whether it be for yourself for dinners or for your kids for school lunches or for yourself for lunches, we have got you covered. We're going to be showing you how, even if you live on your own or there's just two of you, you can still use Costco and not have anything go to waste. For a long time now, we've been wanting to make mini chicken pot pies. It's so exciting.
We really have. Okay, chicken pot pie is just the ultimate, for me, it's the ultimate comfort food. Mm-hmm. And it's not something that I make very often because I always do it like with the roux and make the gravy and add the vegetables and the chicken in, and it's always a bit of a process. But we don't want to do all that. We're going to simplify it today.
We are definitely, it couldn't be any simpler.
No, it really couldn't. It really, really couldn't.
So this was an invention and an experiment, and we're going to have to let you know what worked better because we're not really sure yet.
Yeah, we haven't had them yet, have we?
No. We know which one is prettier, but...
But in the end, will it hold up? I've thought about this since, and I thought there are things I could have done differently, and I'll talk about that.
So looking for a super simple chicken pot pie recipe, I came across a lot that called for cream of chicken soup, and not only do I not like cream of chicken soup, it has celery in it, which I'm allergic to, so I can't really have it. So I used cream of mushroom soup, which I know has nothing to do with anything chicken pot pie-ish.
I think one of our early versions of chicken pot pie had mushrooms in it, which I thought was weird at the time, but it was all right, and I don't make it with mushrooms, but I think it'll serve its purpose. And its purpose is to be the gravy, right?
Yeah, so we're just using some cream of mushroom soup, mixing that together with, and you could sub out cream of chicken soup here, and we're just mixing that together with some chicken. Now, what we did for the chicken, because this is a Costco video, is we got rotisserie chicken. We just got one rotisserie chicken, and we divided that up. Christy's really good at portioning that out, so Christy portioned out the rotisserie chicken, and we're using some of that. We used cubed.
We used cubed for the chicken pot pie, and other parts of the chicken I shredded, and we have a different purpose for that one later.
So we used our cooked cube chicken in here from that rotisserie chicken, and then our mushroom soup. We used a couple of cans of cream of mushroom soup, and then we used some frozen mixed vegetables. You could use whatever variety you want. We just went really simple, carrots and peas and corn and green beans. And then some marjoram, thyme, and sage. Mixed that all together in a bowl, and then Christy made hers with
Pillsbury pie crust.
Yes.
So they come, if you haven't seen these before, it is a really simple, no-fail way to make your pie crust, because you're not making it at all, you are unrolling it. It comes in the refrigerated section at your grocery store, and there's 2 in a package in a box, and you just unroll it. Now, my mom, growing up, would make biscuits using a can that was the right size for biscuits, and she just had taken the can opener to both ends, and that was her biscuit can. Now, you can get fancy biscuit cutters, but we didn't have them here. So I thought, what can I use to cut these the right size to make these chicken pot pies? So I used a diced tomato can, the big 28-ounce can, and then a smaller one, I think it was like maybe enchilada sauce or something that was that size, that was just going to be good for the top. And so I was able to make 5 out of each of the rolls, and I made a total of 10. So I made the big can into the base, we added in the mixture, and then I topped it with the little can and made a nice little top for it. Now, they are kind of pretty. What I was thinking about afterwards, I thought, I wish I could seal them a bit better. Maybe if my can was just a little bit bigger and it came up over the sides, I could have sealed it a bit better, because my fear is they're going to leak. But we did spray these. Like, I did go with oil and grease the pan ahead of time, so hopefully they'll pop out okay. But I also made sure that I cut, I don't know what they're called, just slits in your pie crust to be able to let the steam escape. They are just little pies.
And for mine, I didn't need to let the steam escape, because what I used is the Pillsbury Country Biscuits. We told you this was gonna be easy, so we didn't get those at Costco, but opened a can of Pillsbury biscuits. I also made 10 mini pot pies, because that's how many biscuits I had in the can. And I started trying to like shape them, but I ripped my biscuit dough. And so eventually I did move on to a rolling pin and rolled out each biscuit and then lay it in the muffin tin tray. It took me a little bit to figure out that it actually was better, instead of shoving it down into the muffin tin tray and then filling it, to place it over top and then put the filling on and kind of let the filling sink the biscuit dough. And so then I just folded a little bit the sides up over, so it's naturally vented because it doesn't completely have a top, but they're really cute. The key to these is that we froze them in the muffin tin trays. Mm-hmm. And then when they were fully frozen, I checked them a few times, and I actually ended up leaving them overnight because they just weren't quite frozen enough before that. Then I popped them out and transferred them into large resealable freezer bags. Now, the key when you're reheating these for individual chicken pot pies is you can't just stick them on a baking sheet. They have to go back in a muffin tin tray or in a little
ramekin.
Yeah. Or a little ramekin, because of course if you put them on a baking sheet, they're just gonna flatten and you'll have mush. So I think it's gonna work.
Yes, and I'm curious to see how long they take to cook, because like the biscuits normally are like 10 to 12 minutes if you do them in the oven. Pie, if it's just on its own, you can blind bake a pie in like 10 minutes or 5 minutes. But if you're making a pie, to cook the stuff inside it and to get it crispy and to do all the things, sometimes it's up to like 30 and 40 minutes. So I'm really curious about the difference in the cooking temperature, how that's going to be. So we'll be sure to get back to you.
Yeah, this is an experiment. We're not 100% sure how it's going to be, but like Christy said, we've tried chicken pot pies, like full chicken pot pies in the past, and because they require making a roux, and there's flour or cornstarch in there, they tend to separate after being frozen and thawed. And so we're trying to find a solution, and this is a very simple solution because we know that mushroom soup obviously freezes and thaws perfectly.
It does.
So this will allow us to kind of have the idea of the gravy for the chicken pot pie and the flavors, especially with those seasonings in there, like the marjoram and but not have the work.
That's right. Now, if you don't want to use the mushroom soup, if you're maybe watching your salt intake, by all means, go ahead and make your own, use your butter and flour and make your roux. If you've done this before, and are an expert at this, please tell us about it in the comments because we want to know. This is our first time trying it. I'm sure we're not the pioneers of doing
mini
this.
chicken pot pies.
Absolutely. So let us know what you would do and how you do it. We'd love to hear comments from our viewers.
When I was in Costco buying things for this video, I was actually buying things for 2 videos, and you're probably going to want to watch that other video. I'm going to put a link to it there, but don't go there just yet. At the end of this video, we will link it over on the side, and we'll also have the link in the description down below, because some of the recipes kind of overlap a little bit, where we made them in the other video and then made individual portions for you today to show you how you can have individual portions of those things. But also, when I was shopping, it was meant to be one video, and then there were sales, and it's really hard.
It's really hard. And the other part is, and we mentioned this in the other video, you had kind of dual lists going.
Yes.
If they didn't have, Costco's fickle a little bit. If you didn't have this today, then we would do this. But if they had this, then I would need these things. So she kind of just got them all.
I did, because it was supposed to be like if they didn't have meatballs, which they did, then I was going to get flour tortillas and the rotisserie chickens to make some of these other things. But they did have meatballs, but the flour tortillas were on a massive sale. And when I saw that sign, I just couldn't resist it. I couldn't resist a good sale.
It's okay. It's okay.
And so here we are making these individual meals for you because there were flour tortillas on sale. But
lucky you.
I don't want you to get stuck with extra flour tortillas, because today we're all about showing you how you can use full packages of what you buy in Costco, like the big warehouse packs, even if you live on your own. And so we're going to be giving you some other suggestions for how to use any leftover flour tortillas that you have and put them into freezer meals so they don't go to waste, because the sale didn't do you any good if you didn't use them all. So what we made first with these flour tortillas was chicken taquitos, because we used that rotisserie chicken that was left over, that was shredded, and made chicken taquitos.
We're starting out with our shredded chicken from that rotisserie chicken. We are adding in some cream cheese. Now, this is the first time we're trying Kirkland cream cheese, which is another Costco product.
It was so inexpensive to buy cream cheese at Costco. I couldn't believe it. For a 4-pack, it worked out to be so much less per cream cheese than to buy them individually in the store. So I was very happy about that.
Yes.
And this is the first time that we're trying the Costco brand
cream cheese. When I was mashing it into this mix, it felt a lot softer than the name brand. You know, it was, I think it's going to be really, really nice.
I can't report on the taste of the cream cheese on its own, but I can report on the taste of the cream cheese in the taquitos, because
you had these already, didn't you?
Yes, we took our share of the taquitos. Okay, full disclosure here. We made these meals on Friday. We're telling you about them today because when we were going to be doing the talking for them, someone was fixing holes in my ceiling.
There may or may not have been a leak. We have real lives
2
here.
weeks.
We have real lives here, and these things have to happen. And so we couldn't film that day, and so we're like, well, everything's made. I guess we'll just
talk about it
on another day.
So here we are telling you about this, but in the meantime, some of these meals we've had already and some we haven't. So the chicken taquitos, Friday night, we went to my brother-in-law's and his wife's because my sister-in-law from another province was visiting with her husband, and we hadn't had time to have dinner, and so I'm like, I'm gonna bring taquitos and salsa and heat them in their oven, and they loved them. They were a huge hit. I mean, when are taquitos not a hit? But I can report that in the taquitos, the cream cheese was very good.
Oh, good. Well, we'll get back to the recipe here. Along with our cream cheese and our chicken, we're gonna add in some chopped cilantro, some lime juice, some minced garlic, some green chilies, cumin, chili powder, and salt. And we're going to also add in jalapeno jack cheese that's been shredded. We're gonna mix it all together in a bowl And then on our flour tortillas, we're going to spread a couple of tablespoons across and around the tortilla and roll it up nice and tightly. I made mine with, you'll notice in the video, I made mine in a little smile so that the cheese gets all the way to the ends.
Ooh.
You always roll them. Yeah. And not that you leave a huge chunk or anything on the ends, but I thought, how do you get that there? Mm-hmm. So I experimented a bit and I made mine into a smile and then rolled them. And apparently they were good, so I didn't mess it up or anything.
No, they worked.
So what we do is we freeze them in the freezer individually on a sheet pan, and then we transfer them to the bag so that they don't stick together. So you can take out one or two at a time, which is perfect for a snack or a lunch or if you live by yourself. And you made yours in the oven. Mm-hmm. I like to do mine in the air fryer.
Yes.
And I can cook them from frozen, 10 minutes. You either brush them with oil or I actually spray mine with Pam if I'm feeling very lazy. And they fry up really nice.
Mm-hmm. They're especially popular with my teenagers.
For sure. For sure, for sure.
So we're gonna get to another thing with those flour tortillas in just a second, but before we do, I don't want you to end up with extra flour tortillas. So a few suggestions for you are you could do beef and bean burritos. We've got a really great recipe for that on our website. You could also do breakfast burritos, and those are really good in the air fryer, I hear.
They are very good in the air fryer.
So that's another suggestion. And did you know that you can get eggs at Costco? So you can get a whole whack of eggs and make those breakfast burritos. And if you had any left, you could make breakfast sandwiches because they also sell English muffins at Costco.
Yes, they do.
So there's all kinds of breakfast solutions you could use if you're making individual meals. With that, another one that I love is our Santa Fe spirals. That is an appetizer that's so nice to have in the freezer because you roll them on the flour tortillas. I wrap mine in plastic wrap individually before I put them into the large freezer bag because then you can just take out a few at a time and slice them and have them, your spirals or your pinwheels out on the plate with salsa. Super, super easy if you get unexpected company or get invited somewhere and you're supposed to bring an appetizer. So that's another great way to use up your flour tortillas. But what we did with our other ones is
we made turkey roll-ups and ham roll-ups. And now these are not earth-shatteringly difficult at all. It literally is having your tortilla laid out. You spread it with that cream cheese. Again, the Kirkland cream cheese, it just went so smooth. And listen, we are not getting sponsored by Costco in any way in this.
No, we are not.
But, we all know that the benefits that Costco has. So it's fine to toot that horn. And so we spread the cream cheese on it and then just lay out deli ham or deli turkey and roll them up. Then we cut them into thirds, put them right into the freezer bag and throw them into the freezer. They tend to not stick together, I think because they're dry when they go in. There's not any extra mess. And it is an easy snack. It has some protein in it. It's got some carbs. It's a quick snack. Have it and go. Throw it into your lunch. Throw it in wherever. And it's so easy.
They're great in kids' lunches too because you just take out a couple or even all three. Depending on the age and hunger level of your child, you might want to send them with all three so they get that full flour tortilla. But they're a great little sandwich alternative.
They are. And even better, the kids can pack it themselves.
Totally.
They really, really can.
We're all about that.
I am going to laugh because I had never had a ham roll-up until I met you. And I was over here one day and she's like, I'm just going to make a quick snack for the kids. And they weren't in the freezer. She made them there in front of me while we were visiting. And within 10 minutes, she had like a gallon of these to feed. Between the two of us, we probably had 8 kids here. And so they were gone. And it was just so easy. And I'm like, how have I never thought to do this? That's so simple. And then when she told me she could freeze them, I'm like, good grief. So now we have all your tortillas used up.
One of the things that I feel like goes to waste for smaller families or people who live on their own if they Costco shop is the produce, because you can't really go there and buy like an apple or a sweet potato. And so I just wanted to show you how, if again you're on your own or have a small family, you could use these giant bags of produce before they go to waste and get them in your freezer so that you've got those awesome meals. And the first one that we're gonna do today is a sweet potato soup. So we got a big bag of Costco sweet potatoes, but don't worry, those are all gonna be used. In this first recipe, we did a sweet potato soup. It is so perfect for the season that we're in right now. I heated up some oil in my pot and then added some sweet potatoes, onions, garlic. You could add celery to this part, but I'm allergic to celery, so we don't add celery to most of our freezer meals. And we're just gonna stir those for a little bit, cook them up till the onion softens a bit. After about 5 minutes, you're gonna add a bunch of seasonings, and this is where this recipe really shines. This is where the flavors come together, and I can tell you, because we had this for lunch that day, that it is amazing. You're gonna add some paprika, some turmeric, cinnamon, cayenne, and a bay leaf. Now, turmeric is really healthy for you. It's an anti-inflammatory because it's got the curcumin in there. And so I'm trying to incorporate in a little bit more of our meals. Then we're gonna add some vegetable broth. Now in this case, we actually had some homemade vegetable broth in the freezer, so I thawed that and added it in. And then some drained chickpeas, diced red pepper, bit of soy sauce, half a can of diced tomatoes, half a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes, which really means you should double this recipe and use the whole can. And then on the day of cooking, you're gonna wanna add some fresh basil if you want. But for now, you're just gonna simmer this until those onions are soft, the sweet potato is really nice and soft, and then you're gonna portion it out into individual sizes. So what you can do is you can use quart-size freezer bags, which is what we used here. Some people prefer to use plastic containers for their soup, or you can use reusable silicone bags. So you're gonna portion that into your containers. You're going to remove the excess air if you're using a bag, because when you're freezer cooking, air is the enemy and it causes your freezer burn. And here at Freezer Meals 101, we avoid freezer burn.
We avoid freezer burn as much as we can. Something else that you could put this in that you know that your grandma did, like just a good old country crock margarine container or the basil container. But make sure you label it, because otherwise you'll be opening it. Was this the cookies or was this the...
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And we are big believers in labels. If you haven't noticed, we have beautiful labels, and they are on our club as well. It is one of the benefits of being part of the Freezer Meals 101 Club. Some of the other benefits are
that you can change the serving size. So for the recipes on our regular website, they are just a set serving size, and they tend to be on the larger side, not huge, but because I have 7 kids, there tends to be quite a few, at least 6 serving recipes over there. Whereas in the club, you can change the serving size so that if you do have a smaller family or you're on your own, you can either make the full recipe and portion it out, or change the serving size entirely, which will then change the other benefit to being in the club, which is the shopping list, because it prints your shopping list and your prep list and allows you to create custom meal plans. It's a pretty great thing.
It is a pretty great thing. You should check it out. There's a link down below.
Another tip that I want to give you about the soup is you do want to wait for it to cool before you transfer it into your freezer bags and then get them in the freezer. So you can just wait for it to cool. As you're waiting for it to cool, I would suggest scooping yourself up a bowl.
I think you should. Now, we tried this. Who would have thought there would be soy sauce in a sweet potato soup? But there it is.
There it is.
And it all works together. The cayenne is perfect. It just gives a little bit of heat. The cinnamon and the turmeric are giving you just such exotic flavors. This was so delicious.
It is so good. And so Christy and I and my husband all had it.
We did. We had it that day. So unfortunately, we didn't have very many bags left over to fill when we were done.
No. But this is a great one, and I think you should reward yourself for all your hard work by allowing yourself to have a bowl while you wait for it to cool down and portion out.
Absolutely. This next recipe has been a favorite of ours for a very long time because it is wickedly delicious.
Oh, yeah.
It is curried butternut squash soup. It kind of goes hand in hand with your sweet potato soup, and you're going to see why. We are going to start out with a sweet potato, peeled and cut into chunks into our pot. We're going to add in a butternut squash that has also been peeled and seeded and cubed. We're adding in some olive oil, some onion and garlic, and again with the flavors, we're adding some ginger. Now we like squeezy tube ginger rather than just buying the fresh ginger because we don't have to process it then. It is already in the tube, it tastes just as good, and we use enough of it that we go through those tubes pretty quickly. So it's never a waste for us. You just find it in your produce section of your grocery store. We also are gonna add in that curry paste now. You can add in a mild one or a spicy one, depending on what you like. And we're also going to add in some cumin, some pepper and salt, and chicken broth or vegetable broth. And again, because we had that frozen vegetable broth, we were able to thaw it and put it in here. And we're gonna add in a bit of water as well. We're going to just cook that up, let everything get tender and all those flavors mingling. And then we're going to make it super smooth using the immersion blender. This is so great that we use it, in fact, in other recipes.
Yes, it's in our Sicilian pasta sauce.
It is. And it is just one of those fall recipes that just makes you feel like sitting at home with a big cozy sweater and a book and a big pot of tea.
Totally.
And soup.
Like once you run that immersion blender through it, it's so creamy that you would swear that there's dairy in there. Like it tastes like there's a heavy cream in that soup, but it's completely dairy free. It is so delicious.
It is so delicious. So another one that you want to divide out. Again, you could probably have yourself a little cup of it and then divide the rest out and enjoy for the rest of your fall.
Now I have to say that when I made this, I did double it because it's that good. And Christy and I are going to be using it for lunches for ourselves. So I definitely doubled it.
Absolutely. I'm not going to complain about that. But look at what else you've done. You've used up your sweet potato and your butternut squash.
But not all of it.
But not all of it, because there is still more to come.
I am excited about this one because we have been asked, we're a little famous for our sheet pan meals.
We kind of are. There's a link below for that as well, if you would like to see our sheet pan meals.
Yes, we have a free sheet pan cooking class. So they're all freezer meals that go from freezer to sheet pan, and then just you're only dirtying the one pan. They're all delicious.
They're delicious, and you can just do them so easily in the oven. And it comes with a free PDF that has all of the recipes on it, plus a shopping list of what you would need if you wanted to make one of each recipe or double each of the recipes, coming out with 10 meals. And it also has labels as well, because we do love the labels around here.
Totally. And if you were making those and splitting them into smaller portions, if you live on your own, then you could just print extra labels. So it's super easy.
It's a win.
But we have been asked, because of that, what do you do for sheet pans when you live on your own? And so the answer is toaster oven.
Absolutely. I am shocked at the amount of people that have toaster ovens, for starters, because I tried one out when I was younger and I just kept using my oven anyway, and then before long I was married, and then I had kids, and the toaster oven wasn't a really great option for us, plus counter space. But now there are like some of the air fryers are also toaster ovens, and they're like a tabletop oven. And I know quite a few seniors that have them because they don't need to use their big oven anymore. They can just get away with doing their little one. And so this meal is for you.
Definitely. This is our Cajun sausage and vegetable sheet pan. And at our local Costco, we can buy a 3-pack of Ukrainian sausage. And we actually have multiple recipes that use the Ukrainian sausage. We're not doing them today in this video, but you could make like triple of this if you wanted to use it all up, or you could fry some up with some pierogies one day or whatever, so that wouldn't go to waste. You can also cut them apart and then freeze the 2 that you don't use if you're just gonna do this on its own and use those another day. This is also using butternut squash, and sweet potato. See, we told you, we had you covered on how to use those giant Costco packs of vegetables. For this, normally you would just throw all these ingredients into a large freezer bag. Because we're doing individual portions, we're gonna mix this together in a bowl first. So into that bowl, you're going to add your sliced Ukrainian garlic sausage, some sweet potato that's been cubed and peeled, butternut squash that's been peeled, seeded, and cubed, some zucchini that's been really coarsely chopped, olive oil, Cajun seasoning, and a little splash of salt. You're gonna mix that all together, and then you're gonna divide this into 4 quart-size freezer bags. You're gonna get all the air out of your bags, seal it, and freeze it. Now, on the day you go to make this, so easy. You're just gonna thaw it, put it on in a single layer on your little mini cookie sheet in your toaster oven, and you're gonna bake it at 400 for 35 minutes. And the flavors in this one are so good. The garlic sausage flavor kind of permeates into the vegetables.
And then the Cajun seasoning goes into the sausage, it goes into your vegetables. Don't be shy with your Cajun seasoning either. It says 1 to 2 tablespoons. You can feel the heat out of this one, but it isn't spicy.
No, it's warm.
It's warm.
Like, this is a perfect fall recipe.
Yeah, it
perfect.
really
It
is.
has the colors of fall.
Yeah.
Like, it's so beautiful. But it also has like that warmth and those flavors of fall. It is really good. And I'm excited that we could show you how you could do a sheet pan meal into individual servings, because we've been asked a lot. So any of those sheet pan meals from that cooking class, you would just mix them together in a bowl instead of in the bag, and then portion them out. That's it. You also know how much you can eat, or if there's 2 of you versus 1 of you. So this might be something where if there's 2 of you, you would have portioned it in half and put half in a large freezer bag and half in another large freezer bag, and had it that way, so you can kind of play around with it. And now you've used all your sweet potato.
Yes, you have, and all your butternut squash.
Yes.
And I know that you thought we were crazy when we started this video.
Right, and
said seniors and single people can shop at Costco and use it all up, and here's how.
And nothing went to waste, which makes me so happy.
Right? This next recipe is made with paneer. If you are not familiar with paneer, I suggest you do not start with the Costco block.
It's huge.
It's huge. Go find it at your grocery store. What it is, it's a whey product. You would find it with the cheeses, usually in your cheese section at your grocery store in the refrigerated part. And it is firm like tofu, and it is considered a vegetarian protein. So, and it is actually really good. There's not a ton of flavor to it. It's just something else to put in your meal besides meat. And it's actually really good. Now, what we do to cook ours, so listen, the Costco one is big. I mean, we're talking, I don't know how many kilos or pounds it was. It was
giant.
It was giant. So if you're going to make it, we made Paneer Tikka Masala, because at Costco you can also buy a double pack of Tikka Masala. You can buy a double pack of butter chicken. You can, have we seen Vindaloo?
No, it's just the tikka masala sauce and the butter chicken sauce.
All really good. So what you want to do is you want to fry it ahead of time. And so you just cut it into these 1-inch cubes with a little bit of butter. I like to add salt and pepper because I'm me. Fry it nicely on each side and it crisps up. And then blot it on some paper towel so you don't have to take the extra butter with you. And then you're going to add that into your bag and literally dump your tikka masala or your butter chicken into it. Now, this is also something that you could do in individual bags because it's just a reheat, right? This one can go in the microwave. This one you can do in a skillet on stovetop, but it is so easy and so good. And you can then have it with different things. You could have it with rice, you could have it with naan bread. We like to have ours with the mini naan breads because then we feel cute and fancy. I want you to try it out. I want you to go find it in the store and just give it a chance, and you'll be glad that you did.
I'm gonna link a video right up there, and what that is too is one of our other individual portion videos, and that will show you how to make sort of like a TV dinner style meal that is like homemade TV dinner style meals. And so you can put so much variety in your freezer. We've actually got several videos. You know what? I'm instead gonna link up there is our playlist of the meals for one, because you can find those there, and it's gonna be hard for me to pick because there's such good ones.
They are.
But in the Tikka Masala or the butter chicken paneer, what you can do is you can instead put it in this tray. It's freezable, microwavable, dishwasher safe, all the things. And you can do your rice, cook your rice up ahead, do your paneer over here with that really good sauce that you can spoon onto the rice if you want to. And then you can do some frozen vegetables over here. So you've got your 3 things and your full meal. And that's in your freezer. You can pull them out and microwave them when you need. And we've used the Costco butter chicken sauce with the rotisserie chicken from Costco to make those individual meals too. So good.
So good.
Actually, my boys have been eating them lately. They haven't even made it to like my mother-in-law's yet. And my kids, one of my sons, he just got a new job and he's doing roofing right now.
And he is hungry.
It is like 11, 12-hour days. So he is hungry. So when he comes home, first of all, it's way after we've eaten dinner, but also, even if he eats the leftovers from our dinner, he's still hungry. Yeah. So he's been eating those lately.
That's okay. The kids gotta eat.
This past weekend, we hosted supper club. So Christy and I are in a supper club. Oh, we didn't do this. We didn't really introduce ourselves.
Oh yeah, I'm Christy. This is Charlotte. We're neighbors and besties, and we've been making freezer meals together for over 11 years. We figure we've made over 5,000 freezer meals together.
It's probably way more than that now, because that was like a year ago.
That was a year ago that we did the math. So let's just say we are freezer meal experts, and we actually eat the meals. Like every 3 months we get together, we make over 100, we video it, people watch these. They're over 2 hours long, people watch them. Go ahead and watch them. And they taste good, and there are ways to make freezer meals that aren't just casseroles and soups and stews and chilies. As you can see, it can be just about anything. There are a few things you shouldn't freezer mealize, but you want to stick with us and then you'll know.
So Christy and I are in this supper club that my husband and I put it together, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago.
It was 7 years ago.
What?
Because
7 years.
Our friend was pregnant at the very first one, and that baby just turned 7. 6.
That's 6. Okay.
She just turned 6.
You're right. It was
because I asked her on the way in.
It was in January. So in January it'll be 7 years. Wow.
It's been a long time.
I had no idea. So we've been in this supper club for
almost 7
years. And so it's 4 couples, Christy and her husband, myself and my husband, and then 2 other couples. My husband and I picked the couples based on the men, because we figured like women can chat and like talk to anybody. Not all women, but you know, these women.
And not all husbands are as social.
And friendships have formed from it. Like the couples didn't all know each other before we put it together. And it's been so cool, but it's really fun. We often will do theme nights, not always, but often. So we take turns hosting, and this weekend, Saturday, was my husband and it was our turn. And my husband learned how to cook Thai food in Thailand, and he's so good at it. Like he's not much of a chef, but he's so good at Thai food. And so this is the second time that we've done Thai food. I was feeling badly that it's like...
That you had a repeat? But
now that
we've been doing it for almost 7 years. It's okay to have a repeat.
Now that I know that. And we made some of the recipes were the same, because I mean, that tom yum soup, like you have to do that.
You have to do that.
But
we would complain.
Yeah.
We don't complain about the food ever. We would complain if there was no tom yum soup.
Yes, you would, because he's so good at it.
Yeah.
So my husband and I, in the morning, we went to some Asian grocery stores in the city because, like, where we live, there wouldn't be any of the ingredients that we needed. And we had to go to 3 different grocery stores, and we still didn't find kefir lime or kefir lime leaves or one of the other things that was on our list. But we were able to get like lemongrass and galangal and Thai eggplant and some of these other unusual ingredients that you can't just, get at your corner store. And so he and I had a fun time doing that, and it was interesting. And then later we cooked together, and I made drunken noodles because we go to this place and so this restaurant is called Vifale. It is a Thai and Laos restaurant. So
good. So good. So it's our new favorite Thai place at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it is always good. And I always get the drunken noodles. It's drunken chicken. Like, it's drunken noodles with chicken.
So good.
It is so good. So she tried it out. She got the wok out, and there was... And here's the best part, because I walked in and she said, "What did you think of Supper Club?" I'm like, "It was really good. We need to figure out how to freezer mealize those drunken noodles." And she's like, "I've been thinking about it. I think it's just going to be the sauce, but we'll get there." So Stay tuned. We will figure out a way to make these drunken noodles so you can have them too.
Because I'm not sure that we can do the full thing, because it's one of those stir fries where it's like you've got to put in, the red chilies and heat them for like 1 to 2 minutes, and then add the onion, and then add the garlic, and then add, and then it's do this for 7 minutes, and then this for 5 minutes, and then you kind of steam the noodles that you've soaked, like pre-soaked. You steam the noodles in there once things are, and then you add the chicken at one point. Like, I'm not sure we can freezer mealize it, but the sauce was a little complicated and it took me a long time. If we could make the sauce and like quintuple it,
right,
and then have it portioned out so that on the day that I go to make this again, because I will make it again.
Oh yeah, you have to.
It was so good.
It was so good.
So then I can use the sauce and at least, take out one of the steps.
It is nice to at least have the sauce done if you want to build your stir fry the way a stir fry is supposed to be built. I think it's a great idea, and I can't wait to see what you come up with.
So my husband did the soup. He did a red curry. He does a red curry paste from scratch. So he does
the mortar and pestle.
Yeah,
yes.
he is right in this, and it smells so good in here because that lemongrass and like all of those chilies and everything and the spice level was high.
She had to go get the Kleenex box because our noses were running, and it was perfect. It was perfect. There's one in our group that is a little bit tender in the spice department, and even then he's like, "You guys, I can handle a little bit of spice."
So the funniest thing was that as my husband and I were cooking things, I started to realize how spicy the drunken noodles were going to be. And the last time we did Thai, we did a pad Thai, and it was quite mild. And so I didn't have to worry so much because I had something for this man that is less spice tolerant than the rest of us, right? And so as we're cooking this, I'm realizing I don't know what he's gonna eat. And so I actually remembered that from our last mega session, we had this Thai basil beef skillet. And so I pulled it out, and it's a thin bag, so it thaws really quickly because this was like an hour before people arrived, and I ran it under water really quickly and heated it in the skillet, and it was totally ready. And then it was like a mild dish that he could enjoy, and it was still Thai, and it still went. So we totally had freezer meals.
And my husband had some, and he's like, "We've had this one at home, right?" And I'm like, "Yes, we had it like literally a week and a half ago."
So funny.
He's like, "It's good." I'm like, "I know."
One of the funny things about Christy and I doing freezer meals together is that, like, if they ever came for dinner, like, they have all the same meals in their freezer as we have in ours. So.
I am starting to be tickled about the Facebook group because they are using our recipes from the club and making all of the same things that you and I eat. And I'm like, "Oh, I've had that, I've had that, I've had that, I've had that." And I don't like that one so much, but I've had that one.
Totally.
It's so funny.
I know, and you're like, "Oh, that freezer stacks.
It totally does. It's really great.
It's awesome. So, okay, I know we went way off topic here, but I
Yeah.
had to tell you about how I did actually use freezer meals at our supper club at this Thai inspired thing. And one more thing that I will say, because it's sort of freezer relevant, not really, is that my husband also makes this homemade like faux ice cream. It's a mango ice cream. And so that's what we had. But it's funny. He had, like, as he's making it, he's like, oh, you're supposed to freeze it for 8 hours. And it was 4 o'clock and people were coming at 7. So it wasn't frozen and it wasn't ready. But one of the guys is gluten-free, dairy-free, all kinds of
Thai
allergies.
food is a great one to serve him.
Yeah, but we had gotten him like a rainbow sorbet. We tried to get mango sorbet, but they didn't have any. So we'd gotten this rainbow sorbet. So we ended up having to feed the rainbow
We all
sorbet.
had the rainbow
to
sorbet. It was
everybody.
lovely.
And then the next morning for breakfast, my husband and I had mango ice cream.
Oh, we got it out at the end of the evening after we had gone and visited for a couple of hours after supper. He pulled it out and checked, and it was like ready. There was still a little bit soft in the middle, and so we just went for spoons and we're like eating it right out there. So he said no double dipping. So we went and washed our spoons and came back. So good.
It's not real ice cream, but it tastes really good, and it's real mangoes.
It's real mangoes, and I don't know what's not real. I mean, there's no eggs in it. I don't know what. It's heavy cream and mangoes and some sugar.
There's eggs in ice cream?
Yeah, it's a custard, a frozen
What?
custard.
I don't think I'm ever eating ice cream again.
What?
Is it raw eggs?
No, you cook it. It's a custard, and then maybe I'm wrong. I kind of think there's eggs in ice cream.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to Google this.
If I make it with my ice cream maker, I just use like whipping cream and a little bit of like vanilla or chocolate and a pinch of salt, and it stirs. It's a Pampered Chef one, so it just stirs for 25 minutes, and then I have ice cream.
He used whipping cream, mangoes, sugar. I don't know what else.
But I think true ice cream is like a custard that you then, it's still liquid and then you freeze it. Like, I kind of think so. I'm going to Google it after this. And you're probably all Googling it now. You're probably screaming at your
like, no, it's
tablet.
not.
No,
Yes,
there's no
it is.
eggs in it. But I kind of think that there is.
I'm gonna have to Google this, because if it had eggs in it and they weren't cooked, I wouldn't ever have it again.
You can have pasteurized eggs that are safe to eat that are like not cooked.
Please don't put in the comments all the other things that contain hidden eggs that I don't know
Oh,
about.
I was going to start giving you a list, but I'll stop.
Don't tell me, because I'm kind of squeamish, and then I won't eat them again.
Oh, well, don't Google
She
it.
knows I'm squeamish.
That's why I handle all the chicken.
It's true. Okay, we've gone down a rabbit trail.
We still have a recipe, so don't go anywhere.
But we're here, and we're going to make a pumpkin turkey chili, because what says fall more than pumpkin turkey chili? So I'm at Costco, have no intention whatsoever of buying ground turkey. I don't think I've ever bought ground turkey at Costco in my life, but I'm walking past and there's a sign, and this is becoming a theme, right? But it's on sale. And it was like $5 off for the 4-pack. So I'm like, that's a pretty good sale. So I did buy the 4-pack of turkey. And then we had to figure out what we were gonna do with turkey. Again, we're gonna link to that other video at the end of this one so that you can see that turkey meatloaf that we made. But I'm going to tell you that if you were gonna make turkey meatloaf for yourself, actually I'm gonna let Christy tell you, 'cause she's more the meatloaf person.
If you're gonna make turkey meatloaf for yourself, you could do it in muffin tins, you could do it in small loaf pans, you could cook it ahead of time, slice it, and then freeze those individual ones, or kind of like how we talked about before, you could make the little TV dinner and you could add in some mashed potatoes and your vegetables with it. It also would be good with rice, it would be good with pasta. There's kind of the sky's the limit there. I did end up making mine, and I did it in a loaf pan. Our barbecue meatloaf, we do it in an 8x8 pan, and it really cooks evenly, I find. This turkey in the loaf pan, it wasn't fully cooked, and I used my meat thermometer, and it took longer than what it I think it would have if I had done it in the 8x8 or even a 9x9. So I think it's worth maybe looking at the directions and saying that as an option, but it was flavorful and it was good.
The other thing you could make is turkey sloppy joes. We've got a great recipe for it. It can be cooked up in the slow cooker, in the Instant Pot, right on your skillet, like whatever. And so that would be a really easy one to portion out individually because your turkey is already cooked. So on the day you go to make it, you can have just your little quart-size bag and, you know, have it on your buns. So what we are doing today, though, is the turkey pumpkin chili. So we've gone ahead and cooked up that turkey already, and then some onion, green pepper, red pepper, a little bit of jalapeno, some minced garlic, again from a jar, some salt, pepper, cinnamon, cumin, chili powder, vegetable broth, or you could use a chicken broth if you prefer, some diced tomatoes, kidney beans that are drained and rinsed, and half a can of pumpkin puree, or a small can of pumpkin puree, or half a large can. Now you can also add some sweet potato if you wanted. We didn't add sweet potato to ours. And then you're gonna portion it out into individual quart-size bags. Again, you're gonna wait for it to cool before you add it to the bags. All you need to do on the day you go to cook it is reheat it. This would be a really good one with cornbread, or like a popover, or some kind of, you know, sourdough with butter. It's just...
Or a zucchini sourdough with red basil.
Oh!
I forgot to bring mine. I was going to bring it to show you today because you didn't get a chance to try it. It is really good. Something very special happened to Charla and I on the weekend.
It's true.
There's a restaurant nearby in another community that we've gone to several times, but it's closing. And we're very sad about this. And the food is so good. It is French Canadian cooking.
And all locally sourced
everything. It's even right in the
amazing.
menu. It'll say what farm that the beef is from and what farm the leeks came from. And so we wanted to go for breakfast. So we get there, we park, we go in. First thing we do is we pick out all of the baking that we want to take with us at the end, so they box it up.
Because they have an amazing
bakery. And I picked out a sourdough loaf that was a zucchini loaf, and it's not just shredded zucchini, there are chunks of zucchini in it.
Oh, interesting.
And it had red basil. Zucchini and red basil sourdough is what it was. So we sit down in our booth, and a woman comes over and said, "I know you from YouTube." It was the first time we got recognized.
When we're out together.
When
we had it happen individually.
Yeah. But we were together. So she probably thought she hit the jackpot. But I'll tell you something.
It was so much fun.
We were pretty tickled about it because it isn't something that happens a lot. It just lets us know that we're growing, right? Tell all your friends about freezer meals. Share these videos. Tell people about the club and help us grow. I mean, we're not seeking celebrity status. We just really want to help people fill their freezers. But it was really nice.
We do, and the thing that it kind of told us too is that hopefully we're helping people. And we see that in our Facebook group and the emails that we get from you guys, and even in the YouTube comments here. But it was just to meet someone in person. Hi, Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
And to see that this is maybe helping her life in some way, that maybe dinner at her house is less stressful because of these videos. It just really was like,
we just felt good.
We felt like we were walking on a cloud after that.
Did.
Because we felt like that what we're doing matters, and this is so awesome. And so thank you, Maddie, for coming over and saying hi. We really enjoyed meeting you, but it did more than that for us. It reminded us of why we do this, and we were just totally tickled.
We were totally tickled, and I think my breakfast probably tasted better because of it. It was really good breakfast.
We're gonna miss that place.
Yeah, we are. Maybe there's like a faint hope clause that's coming that will say, okay, we're not closing our doors, but you know, you just don't know until the doors close. We'll see.
It's so sad when those like really like those community restaurants that are, you know, the mom and pop shops and stuff, like when they close down and the food is amazing and it's the kind of place that has a real word of mouth. I mean, we come from several communities away to go visit there. So it is really sad when those things happen. And I guess just another reminder to support local and you know, Although we're telling you to cook at home, which you should do because you'll save so much money.
Then you can afford to go, and I wouldn't even say it's super fancy, but
No.
the food is.
Yeah. It's
They
not
have these
pricey.
tempura green beans with a mayo with maple syrup drizzle. Oh.
The tempura green beans come in a maple syrup can that is
The
kind of
presentation.
stuck to the bottom of the plate with this maple
Maple
syrup.
syrup.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. We're gonna miss that. We ordered it for breakfast because
Because we're like, this might be
this is
the last time we can ever have
and we
it.
can't freezer mealize that one.
No.
we can't.
No,
we can't.
no
I don't
tempura
even.
in freezer meals.
No.
I mean, you could, I guess you could do, I guess people do tempura shrimp. Like
You can
Costco
buy it.
sells tempura
Yeah,
shrimp.
you can buy it.
You know what?
Maybe.
Now we've got our thinking caps on. We might someday have a tempura green beans in a video.
It'll be in our next restaurant inspired video.
With
That
some
would be good.
maple syrup aioli and...
It's so good.
Okay, we have gone off like...
Again,
woo!
sorry. It's like we haven't seen each other, but we saw each other like all weekend.
Yeah, we kind of did.
But we're glad that you're with us and that you can hang out with us because we know some of you do, apparently.
So hopefully with this video, we've helped you see that Costco is not just for those with large families and helped inspire you that if you are someone that enjoys shopping at Costco, you don't have to stop just because you're now empty nesters or you're now living on your own. You can actually make sure that nothing goes to waste just by doing a little bit of planning. We encourage you to hop onto our website or into the club and type in the ingredient that you have a lot of because of your Costco shop and see all the recipes that populate that have that ingredient, and then get those made and into your freezer so that they're not going to waste in your crisper.
That's right. We're so glad that you could join us today and come along on our weird journey through Supper Club and meeting our fans and Costco.
Happy cooking.
Bye.
The verdict on the chicken pot pies is they are so delicious, but the pie crust ones win out by a mile. They also needed to be cooked for longer, but I wouldn't do the biscuit ones again.